Yay!
Okay, all right. Hi, everybody. It is Tuesday night, December 15th. I'm Joanna, and I'm here with Yolanda.
Hello.
Hi. And we're from Literacy in Action. And tonight, we're going to be doing we're going to do Scrap of the Month. And Literacy in Action, we are a nonprofit organization that we work across the Estrie region we offer activities in English that are all about bringing literacy skills to life. So today, Yolanda will guide us through some activities. Sorry, guys, I'm feeling a little nervous tonight. I don't know about you, Yo, but
it's our last one of 2020.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah. But we're coming back in the new year with Scrap of the Month with a little twist. So we're going to shake things up a little bit, but continue this really fun activity. I've had a really great time actually this month trying to figure out how to do holiday decorations. And Joanna, you've been very keen to work with toilet paper rolls for a while.
Well, it's the scrap. It's everybody has this scrap at home.
So many. Yeah. And I've looked and I was like, man, wasn't really feeling it. But I was really excited to see somebody in the universe created these beautiful decorations. And so we're going to share how to create those decorations. You need basically 4 basic materials, and I'll go over that, what you need, and then we'll go step by step how to create it. So if you see us right now, you can give us a like so we know you're there, or you can always comment in the comment section of the live video. If you have questions, please ask. It's really helpful to know where. Oh,
Carol!
Yay!
Oh, nice to see you again.
Excellent. So do like Carol do, and like the video, and then we'll be able to see you. Right. I'm just responding to a message of somebody trying to see us as well. So
okay. Look at this. It is happening tonight. Samantha is with us. Hi, Samantha.
Yay!
So cool what you're doing with the theme.
Excellent. All right. Oh, I clicked on another thing. We're discovering and learning as we go along. Lots of things on Facebook.
Hi, Alana.
Yay! Okay, cool. We got
Muriel. Great.
Yay!
Amazing. All right, we got a team tonight. We are back in feeling the community gathering around our respective computer screens or cell phones or however you are connecting with us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. This is really, really motivating to see. So yeah, as we were mentioning when we first logged in, we're here with Literacy in Action, and Yolanda has been our engagement coordinator for the past little while, a few years. I don't know, time means nothing at this point. So really happy that we can do this again. And let's go. Let's do this.
Let's scrap. Yeah, I love, like we said, our scrap of the month, toilet paper rolls. If you have a super long one from, what is it called?
Paper towel.
Paper towel, thank you.
What is paper towel?
If you have one of those, it's like, that works as well. And we're gonna transform those into holiday decorations. So if you see my, kind of looks like a flower or a star, and I have a couple behind me as well. And we're gonna make those. And we're using scraps. For one, it's easy on the environment, on our beautiful earth. Especially this time of year, there's a lot of waste. And we have all this stuff, this awesome stuff, maybe in our recycling bin, maybe in our garbage bin. And so it's just a really awesome way to use what we already have. Not to mention our bank accounts. Joanna mentioned we're a nonprofit, so that means we have no money. So it's just, for us all, it's really nice to be creative with what we already have. So
Yeah. Waste management's important.
yeah, exactly.
All right.
And we get to use our creative literacy skills and get our hands moving. So what we need, I'm going to go over the list. You might have seen it in the event. We're going to need our toilet paper rolls. We're going to need scissors. Any size works, whatever you got. We're going to need a binder. So if you have
Oh my gosh, I was like, I don't have a binder with me.
sorry, something to connect the pieces.
Yeah.
So any kind of elastic, if you have old hair elastics, that are on their last go, then use that. A kind of rubber band works. So you just need one of these, okay? So if you have one of these, you're good to go.
Okay.
Twist ties are really excellent. I was super excited to use all my twist ties. Or if you have none of those things, if you have some ribbon, this was actually the ribbon that was connecting my Christmas tree all together. So I was like, hey, this doesn't have to go in the garbage either. So we can reuse that. Also, if you have a disposable mask that you're like, oh, now I need to dispose of it, there is a little elastic there. So you can also cut that off and reuse that. So if you have string, thread, yarn, one of those things.
That
Excellent.
can be used to bind.
Yes. Oh, and I said also, if you do have a glue gun, you can use a glue gun. I love my glue gun.
I just wasn't expecting that. That was
a little intense. Yeah.
Excellent.
So glue gun, if you don't have elastics, ribbon, or all that, or a stapler as well. I don't have a stapler.
Okay.
But
Yo, I think we got the idea.
We got the idea. One of those things. Okay. Cut me off.
All right. That's not.
Oh, and then we're going to need something to draw on our toilet paper roll. So I have my lovely bag of random crap, and in it, I have Sharpies. I have markers. I have pens.
I have the little
pencil paper. I have highlighters. I tried to use a highlighter on the toilet paper roll and it doesn't really show up. So
no, I got crayon. I got these guys.
Pencils. Perfect.
Pencil.
Perfect. Pencil. I know.
She told me to find crayons. I was like, I can't find them.
But wax crayons are really excellent as well. If you have paint as well, you can use paint. I also don't have any paint right now, but paint works as well. And that's it.
Let's do this.
All we need. So we're going to start with decorating our toilet paper roll.
Oh, you do it first.
Yes, because once you cut it, it's kind of tricky to get into the little pieces. It's not the end of the world if you flip it, but in my experience, it's just best to draw on your toilet paper roll first. So I'll show you guys a couple of examples. So this one, if you can, okay, let me figure that out. Very simple. I just did polka dots with my Sharpie here. And again, this is before cutting it. I'm just showing you kind of the end result.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of got a fun pattern. I got one here where I was feeling a bit more psychedelic. And I just did some swirls on each thing, and then went in rather aggressively and just put in some color markers. So
nice.
That works too. If you're working with a kiddo right now, they might want to do some little doodles and some little drawings, and add some color here and there as well. The only thing I will say, because it's pretty fair game in terms of what you want to create, what you want to draw, If you do draw like a beautiful little story, and you start here and you write some beautiful words, you're gonna cut it, right? So
Right.
it can still work. Like you see, this one had a nice little story going on. And we could have just kept it as the role, but we decided, no, we're gonna cut it. And it's still pretty fun. So just to keep that in mind, I would suggest going more abstract with your drawing. So shapes, squares, colors. If you are painting at home, it will just take a minute to dry, obviously. So I would paint now and then wait a little bit if you got a blow dryer, and then we'll cut. Cool.
Good.
Questions? Any questions?
I feel like you covered most of the questions I have, but if there's somebody who has a question that they want to type below, I can keep tabs, and you
Perfect.
guys can let me know if there's anything happening there, and I'll go if there's any questions there, and then I'll go back and forth between the event page and the Facebook page to see if there's like any type of
Perfect.
commentary.
Perfect. Yeah, and Joe, if you can just see on the Facebook event if the video is there, and if not,
It
just
is.
share.
This is what
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
seeing. We have 9 people with us right now.
Wow, hello everyone. Yay, lovely,
So,
lovely.
we have a new comment.
All
right. I'm gonna go find out what it is. All right.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna start drawing. I'm kind of partial to my Sharpie, and I'll just keep going. Yeah, and Joe, if you can just see on the Facebook event if the video is there, and if not,
It is. Oh, wait a
okay,
second.
you just gotta mute it.
I'm just gonna shut that down and try again. I was like, is Joe saying the same thing? Sorry, guys.
Repeating the
Had a
instructions.
weird echo. That was my bad.
Okay, excellent. So take your time to figure out what you want to draw. And
one thing when you were giving the instructions, it reminded me of the activity where you close your eyes and you put your pen somewhere on a paper, and then you kind of do a little swirl. You just follow it. So if people are feeling stuck on an idea, I would invite you to try that out, because that's what I think I'm gonna do.
Sweet.
If it works.
I'm starting here with my little star, but I'm kind of into that idea, Joe. Maybe I'll do a shooting star.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You said no concrete. Well, you didn't say no concrete images. You just.
Well, it's true. It'll get smushed up. But I'm gonna let go of that. And
just gonna check out. We've got. Okay, so the comments are actually on the page itself. So. Oh, some people are communicating to each other. Great.
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent.
Yay. All right. I'm gonna take my turn. I'm also gonna. Here we go. Now this is okay. Would wrapping paper tubes work?
Ooh,
that's a great question.
Yeah, I would think so. I guess the only thing to check with wrapping paper tubes is if they're kind of shiny, like once it's done, if it has that kind of, you know what I mean?
Right. It's like
filmy,
laminated, or yeah.
So just to check, I definitely try see if it is a cardboard, like if it looks like that, then you're good to go. And even if it's like a little bit smaller or wider, that's a great way to reuse that. And just check if it's kind of filmy when you're drawing on it, how that works out. So
yeah, you know what?
Those Sharpies.
I was gonna say a Sharpie would probably be the best option for for rolls that are more, is it glistening? What would be the word for that?
If
Like,
you know what word we're trying to think of, put it in the comments, please.
yeah,
Glistening is good though. Close. Yeah, I'm just feeling these stars. Da-da-da.
da-da-da-da-da.
Glossy. Thank you, Brenna.
Glossy.
Ah, that is the word. Word of the day, glossy. Oh, Carol as well. Okay.
Everybody, I can't keep up with this is great. Thank you so much for engaging. We are it's like a whole new like digital skill to like do this at the same
To
time.
do it, yes.
All right.
All right, and I've just made a little Sharpie mark on my table. Fun. Just trying to get that off. Sharpies do stain, folks. They do stain.
Actually, I used to go to workshops very often, and occasionally people would accidentally use a Sharpie marker on a whiteboard. But you
Yeah.
use just like a spray cleaning supply. Like it's
Okay.
actually like if you could use it's not like people go to soap and water, but if
Yeah.
you use like a bathroom scrub, sometimes it can work.
Okay. Hot tip.
Right.
Hot tip.
So I'm gonna, oh, Carol says rubbing alcohol will help with that.
Ah,
Nice.
thank you, Carol.
She is on it.
I do have a lot of rubbing alcohol these days.
All right, I'm gonna close my eyes and see if this works.
Yeah.
And folks, if you're doing this along with us, you can also take a picture of what you're working on. That was a lot of fun last time when people were sending things.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free to share if you're into that,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're open to that. That's the word I'm looking for. If you're open to sharing with us.
Excellent. Stars.
Yeah. I think in my mind, my marker was thicker than it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting sort of figuring out what material you're using. Yesterday when I was making one of these guys, I had these tiny little markers that I found at the dollar store, and they're super fine, tiny little ones. And yeah, I realized it was better to just kind of go in and do markings like on my psychedelic one and just do that rather than trying to cover the whole surface.
Right. So I did like, I tried to thicken what I did. Oh wait, I tried to thicken.
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna, yeah, now that I see a question came up. How do I take a picture? Ah, good question.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have, I suppose it depends what technology you're using.
Yeah. So if you're watching on a desktop, it's going to be a little tricky to take
my phone out.
Yeah, it'll be a bit tricky. If you have a phone with a camera, that's generally the best way to take a picture. So if you don't have one of those and you have another kind of camera, you can always take a picture, and I would send it to Literacy in Action after the workshop. And then we can share it. So you don't have to worry about taking a picture right now with a digital camera, because it takes a bit of time to upload and all that. So I wouldn't worry too much about that right now. So I think those are kind of your strongest options. Take a picture with your phone. and send it to us, or if that's not what you have, but you have a digital camera that you want to take a picture of, you can do that and then send it to us later. And we can always just message to all about how to do that together. And that's one of the things I've been really enjoying in the last couple of months, is just figuring out technology together. Because there's some things I know and there's a lot of things I don't know. And yeah, and just asking the right questions. So that's a really good question.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about how for a long time I didn't engage in certain types of social media or just like online things in general, and how in a way I was, not that I was like missing out on like our generation's experience, but it was really interesting to like learn about what was happening in the online worlds. When COVID kind of came about, it was like starting to do more research, take more time on the internet for more to see what's out there versus looking up open hours of a restaurant. So it was interesting to how the use of technology has changed for me.
So much. So much so. If you are just joining us, hello. We are just drawing on our toilet paper rolls. So I've started my star pattern and I seem to be attached to it. I might keep it black and white, or I might go with color. So we're just working on that right now. And then in a little bit, maybe like 5 minutes. You think that's enough time, Joe? We'll start, or I'll at least explain the next step. And if you're ready to start cutting in 5 minutes, great. If not,
I'd be into, sorry.
No, go.
If people are like, if for folks who are with us and engaging online with us, you can let us know where you're, how much more time you think you need. And then that will help us gauge a bit better.
Yeah.
And because I know I'm a little slower at this, because even just holding this is a little weird.
It's awkward. Yep. It's a little awkward. Oh, all right. We got an excellent question. Do we have to draw on them or can we paint them after? Either or. So it's really up to you. If you want to, if you want to draw it now with us, if you want to paint it now with us, like I said before, it will take a bit of time to dry. So I would say, thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, you can also paint it afterwards. So I hope that's relatively clear. We got Brenna saying 5 minutes is good for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll kind of stick to another 5 minutes. If that is not enough time, that is totally okay. I'm gonna go slowly through the next steps. And what's really fun about Facebook Live, we've discovered, is that once the video is not live anymore, it's still gonna be there. So you can always go back and be like, what did they say again? What was that step? Especially if you want to make more of these, because I think this is my 5th holiday decoration. Once you get going and you realize how many toilet paper rolls you have, you can really just keep on trying and creating new things. So yeah, and you can always share the video once it's done as well, so that other people who maybe couldn't join us live can participate. So yeah.
And one thing I think you said earlier that is worth repeating, for those that wanted to maybe paint them,
Yeah.
you can later, when you're doing it, when you're doing it later,
Yeah.
you can use a blow dryer to help it dry quicker. But I would, if you have a couple of toilet paper rolls, then maybe it's you can do it on your, like, do one with crayons or markers now, just to do the
Mhm.
experience, and then take some time to like set up with the paint and everything. But that's something I think I might try a little later when I'm at home,
Perfect.
Sorry, I just realized everyone's at home.
We all at home.
Yeah,
Yes,
I didn't want to make a mess here.
Yeah, paint a
Okay.
little more set up. How you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm okay.
You're the only one who can respond to me. On video. I see the comment. I feel the love.
Yeah, no, it's going all right. I think that I went for the abstract, and
Yeah.
it's working in an abstract way. And so I'm kind of committing to it.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing once we cut it, how it will appear,
Yeah.
or how it will come
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah. Your first one is kind of like your first pancake,
Yeah.
It's generally an experiment.
She says,
and
perfect star.
this is not my first one.
Exactly. That's like, we will all reach those skills one day soon, guys.
And a couple of toilet paper rolls. Yes. Yes. All right. I'm debating if I'm gonna add color to mine.
Why not?
Well, like I said, I have those tiny little markers. So,
Oh,
I
right.
could make them kind of explode. I'll try with this guy.
I mean, it wasn't a challenge, like, why not? It was more like, I could have asked that in a different way. It was, why would you not want to put color? Because I think there's a thought process happening there.
Yeah. No, but I'm gonna try.
Nice, Carol. Yeah.
Perfect.
Sounds like a good plan.
That's an excellent plan. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had crayons for this. You can kind of really get in there, but I'm enjoying. I made my 1-star.
Oh, cool.
Darn. So it's kind of working. I'm trying to let go of the perfectionist in me.
Well, that's one thing I've really been gaining from doing the scrap of the month. It's kind of just like, I like really overthought the first print.
Right.
Printmaking.
Yeah.
And then it failed because I only had markers and no paint.
If you would like to see that video, go to our Facebook page, click on videos, and then there's a bunch of our scrap of the month. Because yeah, like I was saying, for this video, it'll be there, but also we did a printmaking one with styrofoam plates. What else did we do?
We did lanterns.
Lanterns, yes, with old jars. Actually, it's funny because that's kind of a perfect thing to put out. That was around Halloween, which feels like 2 years ago. But yeah, this is really nice as we go into the darkest, longest, longest day of the year, shortest day of the year. I always mess that up. The shortest day of the year. Can make a lantern as well.
Ooh, so yes, speaking of, when you said lantern, I thought I should put some bright colors. And so because I was really choosing dark colors, and then I added orange, and it really gives some contrast.
Nice.
Yeah. So I do
Nice.
believe the 5 minutes have
Right.
happened. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
I will slowly start talking about cutting up your beautiful artwork. Again, if you're not there, that's fine. I'll just kind of show you guys how to do it. And the first kind of thing you need to decide is how many pieces you want to cut. So I kind of defaulted to 4 the first time I made this. So it's basically 1 cut, 4 little cuts here, and it makes 4 petals, if you will. And I'll show you how exactly to do that. And then I have my 5 petal one. And you can create that. You can go with more than that as you move along, but I would keep it to 4 or 5 for your first one, and then explore for your second, third, 5th, and 20th holiday decoration. So the 4 petals is really the simplest one to do. Sorry, I got distracted by a comment. Look forward to doing these with you guys in the future. This is my first time. Excellent. We do look forward to doing community activities in community again one day. And we'll just be very grateful that we can be online right now. But definitely looking forward to that day as well, Clay. So I will show you how I'm going to do 4 petals for this one. And so basically I'm just going to smush my toilet paper roll, just so it's a bit easier to handle. So just mush it down.
That was the biggest, probably the biggest wonder I had when I saw it. I was like, how do they do that?
How does that?
All you do is
work? Yes, mush it. It's fun.
Smush it. You smush it, smush it, smush it. Yeah. Like, yeah, peanut butter, and jelly.
Yes, jelly. I'm hungry. So then we're gonna take our scissors. Okay, and we're gonna cut it in half.
Although yeah, because we're doing 4.
Exactly.
Right.
Back to our fractions here. So we're gonna do it right down the middle, roughly. If you want to measure it, whoops, go for it. I'm gonna rough it. And that's my middle. Okay, now I have 2 pieces. And then we're gonna cut each of these pieces in 2. Okay. I will show you the 5, how to do 5 petals right after this. Okay.
I wanted to do 5.
My bad. We're gonna start with 4, and then I'm sure you have another toilet paper roll, Joanna.
Yeah, I do. I can handle this, I think.
All right. So I'm gonna cut this again. I'm just going roughly where the middle is. And now I have 4.
Do people feel the excitement? Like, I see it coming together, and it's
You see it coming together, yes.
gonna be great.
Excellent. So I got the 4. And I'm gonna do the 5 now. Okay. And the 5 is a tad more complicated, because if you do have a ruler, I would suggest using it. Or you can kind of measure it out. But with your ruler, basically one rule is about 10 centimeters. Okay. So if I wanted to do it in 5 parts, I'm going to do a line at every 2 centimeters. Okay. So 2 centimeters here, 4, 6, 8, and then 10. So I have 4 marks total. If you don't have a ruler, it's a bit larger than my thumbnail.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Again, you can kind of rough it. They don't have to be all equal, exactly the same. But if you're feeling like you want to make it really precise, you can go in with a ruler.
So can you just walk us through the math one more time, please?
Yes, I can. I'll do it on the other side of I kind of took, this one already has these things in there just to make things interesting. So I measured my toilet paper roll. So most of them are about 10 centimeters. And we're going to make it into 5 pieces. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. So 2 centimeters is my first mark.
Great, yeah.
And then 4 centimeters, my second mark, 6 centimeters, my third mark, 8 centimeters is my fourth mark.
Excellent.
Okay, and the same thing with the 4. We smoosh it. Okay, just to make it a little bit more like paper. And again, so then we're just going to cut it on that line, on that first line.
Great.
So again, a reminder, I suggest drawing on your toilet paper roll before you cut it. But this is just kind of my example one. And I do find if you're not super into coloring, I do kind of like the look just of the brown. It's got a bit of a rustic vibe.
I think that my other thing was more of a like had rope on it because it's a lot thicker.
Okay.
So I'll make something else out of it.
Excellent. Okay, so then you have your 5 petals here. All right. And if you have the paper towel roll, you can also just kind of wing it and keep cutting and making a bunch. And you'll see what that'll look like once we start stringing these little pieces together. Or you can also measure it out and divide it up as well. So, yeah. Okay. Questions?
I really want to know how we attach them.
Okay.
And I also just want to do a little shout out to Anne Kathleen, who gave us a like. She was, she animated with us for many years. And then she went to do other projects. So it's nice to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the shout out.
Excellent.
Yay.
Excellent.
So do tell.
Okay.
The question we've all been seeking the answer to since we saw the invitation.
So we're going to take our first petal. So I'm back to my 4 petal one.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to flatten it as much as possible. Just with my fingers, really getting into the sides there, squishing them down.
If you're what was that?
I got these stupid headphones.
Oh, yeah. They're helpful headphones.
Helpful headphones. So we're going to take our scissors. And if you're working with kids right now, I would just a little bit of a dangerous thing. So just see what I do and then figure out how to do it together. And we're just going to press down and make a little hole. Okay, so
Where are we making it in relation to the edge?
like half a centimeter away. You don't want to be too close to the edge because your
No.
hole is going to be relatively large, but nowhere near the middle either. Just kind of on the, just by the edge. You're going to make a hole. If you have like a little pin or something, you could also make a hole with that.
Great idea. Or a pen.
Or a pen, that could work.
Pen.
Try it with a pen. I haven't. So please try, Joanna.
I did.
And again, yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's a lot less stressful than a knife, but
Oh, perfect.
it has the same, who's ever doing it with a pen, don't put your thumb or your finger, of course,
Yeah.
behind it unless you're ready. So just a
Yeah.
little bit of pressure. What I'm doing is I place it, put a little bit of pressure, and then move my thumb so that when I press down with the pen to, that's my contribution tonight.
Innovation, I love
That's
it.
it,
If
that's
you
it.
want to put it down on something, like a cutting board would be great. Just know that that'll come out the other end. So those
And
are
how
all
big-
our warning signs.
Yeah. Oh no. Sorry, I feel like I chose the wrong side of my, I'm gonna go and poke onto the other side because I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay. So I've got my little, you can see it kind of poking out. And it's just a little tiny hole. You can barely see it.
Samantha missed that part. So so do you want to
That's
just,
perfect because I'm going to do it again on my other part. So we're going to be making a little hole. And as we'll learn from Joanna, we're going to choose which side we want to make the little hole on. So either close to the edge, okay, not too close, so that it'll rip, but just about there.
if
If you're using a glue gun, no. So thank you for that, Carol. If you are using a glue gun, you're just going to be gluing it together and then holding it there. So depending on the strength of your glue gun and how hot it is, obviously just be careful with it and hold it kind of to the sides as it dries.
so
So
when
you
you're
go
putting,
2 petals at a time.
when you're using a glue gun, are you, sorry, I don't have myself, you're doing it on this edge here, or are you doing it on the side?
If you're using a glue gun, I would suggest putting the glue where we're putting a hole.
Where we're like, so here.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you see here, this is the part that they connect.
Okay.
Yeah.
But does that work with 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you'll just add it. Yeah, it should work. Just take your time, but it should work. And if you're using a stapler, it's probably the fastest way actually to do that, is you're just going to be stapling right here.
And when we're making a hole, can you show us again how
Yes.
big that hole should be?
Yeah, and like they asked, do I make holes in each piece? Yes, so each petal has a hole on one side. Okay, so I was just gonna, where did I start making my hole? Okay. So I'm choosing which side I want to do it on, and then I'm just going in slowly with my knife, my scissors, or like Joanna's doing with a pen. And it's just slowly coming through. Okay, and then there's a little hole right there. Okay, so right now I have 2 done and I have 2 more to go.
I'm interested, are people making 5 or 4 petals? I'm curious to see what the group went with,
Mhm.
or what individuals in the group have gone with.
Okay. All right, Brenna's going with 5. Excellent.
Nice. I can't wait to see what you create.
All right, now you'll notice there's a bit of like little fluff coming out. That's great. Clay's using a stapler. Excellent.
Nice.
Excellent. So yeah, we're just stapling them together. Cool. How you doing, Joe?
I'm watching and trying to catch up on some comments. It's really cool. This experience is so new, like Facebook Live, because I know most of the voices of the people we're engaging with.
Mhm.
So I definitely like feel like we're in conversation with you folks out there. So thanks so much for engaging in this way with us. And yeah, I mean, I've got all, and how am I doing? As it relates to the activity,
Yeah,
I've got my holes in, and I'm ready to attach them.
perfect.
If that
Perfect.
is indeed the next step.
That is the next step. And what I'm going to show, oh, thank you, Brenna.
Oh,
Yes, I misread the question. So if I had a stapler, thanks for catching that. If I had a stapler, I'm going to pretend this is my stapler. Okay. Because I don't have one. So this is my clothespin, but I'm going to take my two pieces, my two first pieces. All right, I'm going to go with my stapler and then staple them right at the corner. So where we've all been making holes, like the glue gun, we're going to go in and staple it there. Okay, then I'm going to add a third petal. And I'm going to use my stapler and staple it in. Okay, then I'm going to go in. This will be interesting to do. I'm going to go in. Let me just shift my hand so I'm holding this properly. And then go in and do my last one. And Samantha's saying my staple's big, so it made a flower shape. Lol. Okay, cool. It shifted a little bit. And so you'll see, like right now, how I'm holding it, it's kind of weird. But once they're in, you can kind of shape them a little bit more as well. And we'll see that with all the other ways that we can attach them together with string. Once they're together, you can kind of play around with them. Yes.
nice.
So I hope that answers your question, Clay. Thank you, Brenna. Wow, we have such a fun group today.
Yeah.
Like Joanna was saying, it is really fun to to know people are out there and creating with us. It's really fun. So, if you do have ribbon or string, I would suggest just taking a big old piece, as long as you have, but just starting off big, and then you can cut it after if it's too long. And if you have an elastic, you have two options. You can keep it bound like that, and we'll kind of put it in through, like I did with this guy. So I just used an elastic in its double shape, or I can just cut it. I can cut my elastic so that it's like a string, so that it's one piece. The double one is a bit harder to get through. So if you're already feeling a little impatient, then I would just cut it and make a string. And if you have a twist tie, you're good to go. That's nothing more to say about that. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it with a twist tie. And it's kind of the same for each material if you're weaving them together.
And I'll just say, for those that may have used a pen, I'm now using the scissors to make my holes bigger.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So I'm going to start going through. So I'm just going to put my twist tie through. And the twist tie is nice because it does stay straight. It's a bit easier, but if you're doing it with elastic, you just got to hold it together. And then I'm going to keep going. I'm going to put my second one here, like so, kind of like a little garland. Whoop.
Now this is where we also exercise our motor skills.
Yes. Yes. So this is what it kind of looks like with a twist tie.
I'm going with the double elastic situation. I don't want to break up my, and part of it has to do with the fact that I feel like tying it afterwards is going to be difficult. So
Yeah.
I like doing the loops with elastics.
Ah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, the only thing I found tricky with the double, like with the elastic intact, is just getting it through the holes.
Yeah.
But you can use a pen or the tip of your scissors to push them through. Perfect. Ooh, is that a pink elastic?
Yeah,
nice.
Literacy in Action has everything you never thought you'd need.
That is excellent.
I'm going to share this with my niece, so she really likes pink.
Oh, fun.
All right, yo, what's next? Or are you
Okay, so
this out? How are people doing?
how you guys doing out there?
It is a little bit trickier than, but you don't need
Yeah.
to wait for me.
So depending on what you have, we're just gonna tie it right where my fingers are. Okay, so twist ties, I'm just gonna tie it. If you've got elastic or the ribbon, you're just gonna make a little knot and make sure that you have just enough on each side, because we're gonna go up. And this is the part where we're kind of, depending on if you're gonna put your decoration in your tree or if you wanna have it in your window, if you're not a tree person, or you just wanna have some nice stuff in your window, you can make it small or big depending on how you're gonna hang it up. But it's always wise to keep it bigger at the beginning so that you have options.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you two things that you can do. So with the twist tie, as well as pretty much everything else, you can just make a loop. It does look like a butterfly. I was realizing that too. The 4 one really has a butterfly effect. And I guess it's a little bit of spring in our beginning of winter. And yeah.
I did hear we're going to go through a cold spell pretty soon.
Okay, so maybe we need that.
Yo, something's happening.
Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna work with them after. So
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, if they're kind of bunched, we're gonna reshape them afterwards. So yeah, you can kind of create a loop. So make sure with your elastic as well that there's a bit of a loop with my twist tie.
Do I need to
Perfect.
like lock the loop in, like make a knot?
With the elastic, I would just hold off to see once we reshape it. And I'll just show one thing that you can do with a twist tie. So if you do have some, but you didn't use it before, for this one, maybe for your next decoration, explore it because you can make a little hook, right? So that I can just hook it onto my little thing, my little butterfly. Okay. And now it's stuck. Okay, so if it's all kind of smushed on one side, we're just gonna kind of try to move them around. So it might be, Joanna, try moving them around, pinching the corners of your petals.
I guess can you see what I've done here? Is
You
this
have to put it up a little bit higher. Yeah.
like
It seems like,
I
yeah,
did this, like I wasn't sure how to attach them. So I went like that. Sorry, did you see what I did there? It was separated
partially.
and then
Yeah, maybe.
I
Yeah.
went like that to make this loop.
Okay.
That's why I'm wondering, like, should I loop a knot?
Yeah, I would do a knot so that you can play around with it.
Yeah, okay, great.
Sorry, that makes, yeah. I'm with you now.
Wasn't sure because I was like, I feel like this is not.
So yeah, you can move them around and definitely, like Samantha was saying before, maybe the staple kind of shaped it in a certain way as well. So just going with that, you can kind of push it if you want your petal to be a bit thicker, or your butterfly wings. Nice.
This is why I wanted 5 to complete. But I
Definitely, yeah, like that, it definitely has a more of a butterfly look because it has a bit more part in the front. And it could be, Joanna, just if you wanted to explore cutting the elastic because it feels a bit bunched.
Well, I think what I need to do is actually not do the double at all.
Okay.
Or
Now, if I could add, if you have made 4 and you're like, I do want more, you can. So if I undo my twist tie here, nice fireplace for Santa to come out. Joanna's ready. So I've just loosened my twist tie. Hi, Evelyn.
yeah.
And what I could do is add a petal or two. So these are my petals from before. So I'm just going to quickly make a little hole in it and try not to stab myself on Facebook Live. Dun, dun, dun. And I can just add another petal. So you can use
Of course.
2, you can use 2, you can use 3 to just keep making more petals. So it doesn't have to be one roll is one decoration.
Mine has found its shape, I think.
Sweet.
Yeah, it took a moment, but you're right that you need to. My mistake was kind of expecting it to like fan out the way I guess a fan does. Like that it would fall into place, but it's true that the you know, I needed to manipulate it with my hands.
Yeah,
So,
you got to place it.
I'm very
Perfect.
satisfied.
Excellent. And so I just added
Oh,
my
that's,
fifth petal,
look at that.
right? So it was like one roll and a bit. So you can add, and I think I'm gonna add a bunch to one and just explore that and keep making petals. So this would potentially be a good time. If you want to paint as well, you can paint the inside, right? So the picture on the Facebook event is like gold and silver, and you can go in the inside, but you can also draw on the inside if you've got that patience and want to go in. Power to you. But yeah, I like the cardboard with my stars. That look. Yeah.
Nice.
And that is our decoration.
Great.
for today.
Yolanda, while we're here and wrapping up,
Okay. Yeah.
would you be into explaining how this activity connects to literacy in actions meant like goals as an organization?
Yeah. It's an excellent question because it does come up. And when we think of literacy, we really think of reading and writing, which is totally true. It's a huge part of literacy. It's a huge part of what we do, working on our reading, we're on our spelling. But there's also creative literacy, and that's where we can learn new things, how to create new things, how to transform things that we already have, that we already know, but build on that. And it relates back to reading and writing in the sense that we do need to build on our imaginations. So being able to see a toilet paper roll and to imagine what it could look like as something else. Being able to imagine, okay, if I cut it up, if I measure this out, if I divide it up, I can make something new. I can feel confident in learning something new. That's definitely one thing for me when I'm learning. Like if I think of music, I'm not at all good at music, and it really scares me when I'm trying to learn things and people are telling me like, oh yeah, just do this, da, da, da. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But being able and trying to learn something new, it can be scary, but it can be really awesome and it's fun. Like learning can be fun.
That's definitely one thing that's been nice. And I think, I've always felt that our scrap of the month or arts and scraps activities that we do where we use art as a way to connect with the community, it's also an opportunity to explore our critical thinking skills.
Okay.
Because you have to, like, what did you just do? Like you creating something new, you're looking at it and you're developing a new way of seeing it. But also there's that idea of document use. We do a lot of things orally right now because we're online, but in person, you've created a really cool, some cool, kind of like a recipe, but for art activities. And so using those and following instructions, practicing the step by step. That's been something that I've really enjoyed while working with you with the arts, with the creative literacy. Is that idea that like we're taking different pieces of things and we're turning it in, we're going step by step to create something new. And just that in itself, that process, that's actually an essential literacy skill. Being able to go from A, B to C. So cool. Thanks for chatting that out with me.
Yeah, and one of the things I've really missed about doing this stuff in community is questions. We have questions of like, wait, how do I do this? Because it teaches me a lot to how to quote unquote teach it. And we all have just such great questions, and I really appreciate when people risk asking them. So thank you all for being here, for creating with us. Like it was said before, like it's really, I feel like I can see your faces, even though I'm talking to myself right now, sitting in front of the screen. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, just wrapping up, don't forget about cleanup. This is a pretty like low cleanup activity. Yeah, just you know, put your stuff away. If you are doing this with kiddos right now, you can give them little tasks of things to clean up and put away. And yeah, just thanks for being here.
Yeah, so I invite everybody to trust their learning process and trust themselves over the next couple of weeks as we enter a different kind of holiday season. So we're thinking of everybody. We're looking forward to reuniting at some point. But this has been really lovely tonight. Thank you, Yo, for guiding us through this process. And if anybody has wants to take a picture and send it to us, we'll be happy to share it. We'll be happy to see what you did. That's one thing I miss, is seeing everybody else's creations.
Yeah.
So this one's mine. I've kind of fiddled a bit with it since
yeah, as we're talking, we're just fiddling.
yeah. But it's been great. And what I think is also really cool is an activity that looked simple, actually required some thinking and creative skills, but also again, like manipulating it in new ways. It was
Yeah.
very cool. So
Yeah.
thanks for
Yeah.
a way to use the toilet paper rolls.
Yes, finally. We get to do it. And if you want, this video will be on our Facebook page. So if you go, you can scroll down, but if you click on videos as well, you can see this video and other ones as we do kind of go into the holiday season, if you want to do some crafts with other people. Yeah, we have a couple of comments I just wanted to share. What Evelyn was saying, lovely idea about being confident about learning. When I take time and let each step sink in, I feel more sure about being able to make something.
Yeah.
Yay. All right. And then we have Clay. I think, if you're not thinking yours is so good, try again, watch the video again. I have a feeling it is good, but that's my bias. This is my 5th one. And I would keep practicing. A wise little boy told me recently, practice doesn't make perfect, it makes progress. And I thought that was just a really awesome switch of keep trying it out. If you don't like your first pancake, try another one. And I'm really glad that you had fun. That's the most important part. Even if we don't always like what we make, we're like, the kid isn't that great. Having fun is definitely a huge part of it. So I'm glad. And I do encourage everyone to make this again and share this video and share with your people over the phone or whatever you got going on. Just you.
All right, guys, take care. We'll be closing on Friday, but we're encouraging everyone to write some gratitude letters over the holiday. So reach out to us before Friday if you want help getting started with that. As well, we'll be coming back January 4th. We'll be back. So stay tuned for what's up next season, and keep in touch. And it looks like we've gone a little overtime, Yo. So thanks everybody for being here with us.
Yes. And I love just one last thing that Brenna was saying, that maybe using an elastic twist tie would give you a different result. And that's very true. So a twist tie is a bit different. then a string or stapler as well. I think that you're using a stapler. So keep experimenting.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you everyone for engaging and communicating with each other. This has been such a cool experience tonight. So thank you. I wish we had like music or some cool way to start end
Next
it.
time.
Yeah, we like to dance out everything. So
2021, we're gonna get super high tech and have
Yeah.
everything, but keep it low key with the scraps.
all right, guys, have a great night. Big hug and take care.
Thank
Cheers.
you.